John Jorgenson here with you today. I've got Michael Schnitzer with us. We're in one of our projects, and today we are going to be chatting about a whole list of items that we are proud of at Stanley Martin Custom Homes. So we're going to talk about our largesse. We are going to talk about our pricing structure and how we dovetail on Stanley Martin. We're going to talk about how we manage everything from A to Z. So some of our buyers manage their own site work, but for 99% of the buyers out there, we do everything. We will talk about the award Michael won in 2001 and how it is that we're still using those same processes and practices today. We're going to chat about our home sciences division and all the things, or many of the things, that they do with Stanley Martin Homes that we also do in Stanley Martin Custom Homes. We'll chat a little bit about how our custom home company leverages the architectural and marketing departments of Stanley Martin companies. Most importantly, we're going to spend some significant time talking about how Michael and I provide an enormous amount of detail so you will not have any unpleasant surprises during construction. So stay tuned for this series of discussions, and we will bring these to you one segment at a time. Michael, first, why don't you tell us about Stanley Martin and the family of companies and how they're all related?
Sure. Well, Stanley Martin started in 1966. The company has always been named Stanley Martin. That's important because through good times and bad, Stanley Martin has preserved its name and has always paid subcontractors on time. That said, Stanley Martin has a home building entity. Stanley Martin has some affiliated companies that do commercial construction. Under the home building side, there's Stanley Martin Homes. Stanley Martin Homes has entities such as Stanley Martin Custom Homes, right? So that's us, and we build for customers on their property. That's all we do. That's our raison d'etre. Whereas Stanley Martin Homes may buy a couple thousand lots or develop a couple thousand lots and spec build. So that's the difference between Stanley Martin Homes and Stanley Martin Custom Homes. Stanley Martin also owns a mortgage company, First Heritage Mortgage. Stanley Martin also owns a title company, First Heritage Title. And all these companies do eventually roll up into the Stanley Martin umbrella. And again, on the commercial side, Stanley Martin develops, or Duval, which is the Stanley Martin affiliated company, builds out large retail, commercial, hotel properties, condominiums, things of that nature. So we're a well-diversified company, and again, have been around since 1966.
Great. So Michael, can you tell us a little bit about how does Stanley Martin Custom Homes fit in with Stanley Martin? So I think one of the questions that a lot of folks will ask me, on a regular basis is, hey, I don't want my project manager, disappearing while they're going to work on a Stanley Martin job. So talk a little bit about the separation and the structure of our team.
Sure. So we're somewhat unique, meaning Stanley Martin Custom Homes, because other builders, I'm going to get to your question in just a second, will merge spec building and custom or on-your-lot building and run it as one company. And we find that to be almost, I'm not going to say illogical, but there's some counterintuitive things that go on with both spec building and custom building. So the first thing is Stanley Martin Custom Homes, we have only processes that are dedicated to building on your lot. So building on your lot is totally different because you own the lot, you have the right to go visit your property. Your experience with the whole build process is completely different than if you were spec building. So we have unique processes that are developed for our custom home build on your lot buyer. Our project managers, again, only manage the build on your lot customers. Our project managers are required to meet with their customers once a week as a regular scheduled meeting with an agenda, with meeting minutes, and that's to hold everybody accountable and have a method to share information, share concerns. And so we have many, many, many unique processes, and we also have checklists that are unique to the Build on Your Lot process. As it relates to Stanley Martin Custom Homes and Stanley Martin Homes, we dovetail on the largesse of Stanley Martin while building and concentrating on as a boutique company. So what do I mean by that? So we dovetail on Stanley Martin's buying power. So when we buy 2x4s, we're buying 2x4s not as a 40 or 50 or 60 home builder a year, but as a thousands upon thousands of home builder a year. So we buy on, we have national buying accounts, we buy on the commodities market. It's just an entire level of sophistication that no other builder in our market is going to be able to achieve. So our cost of goods is going to be significantly less than our competitors. We also dovetail with the technology. So because Stanley Martin on the home building side has a lot of capital, is generating a lot of revenue, they have unique systems, cloud-based technology that allows for us to work remotely, that allows trades to access information vis-a-vis their computer. So we are, I would say, current with the times with regard to technology and how we do business.
Great. So yeah, that's really good stuff. So you know, one of the things that I think is really important to chat about for just a minute is the total separation between Stanley Martin Custom Homes and Stanley Martin. So Stanley Martin Custom Homes is a wholly owned subsidiary of Stanley Martin, right?
Sure, right.
And so when you talk about our project managers meeting with the clients once a week with written agendas, those project managers would never go to a Stanley Martin job.
No,
a production job, and vice versa, right?
Right. So, so from a production mindset, the production builder's mindset is to have a project manager, a construction manager on site, overseeing perhaps 30 houses under construction at one time. There is no way that they can meet with customers individually. So it is a production builder mentality. Very little interaction with the homeowner. There's a couple times out of necessity they have to, but ours is more about relationship building and a completely different set of criteria versus if you were building production. That is kind of like completely foreign in how we do business. Right.
So at Stanley Martin Custom Homes, we leverage Stanley Martin.
Absolutely.
We take advantage of their IT department, right? We take advantage of their architecture department, but we're managing that whole communication.
Well, here's another example. So I would think probably every other builder in today's market has to spend time approving invoices, coding invoices. We have an automated system so that when our project manager clicks off that a task is complete, that subcontractor or supplier gets paid electronically automatically.
It's amazing.
So it's a completely different experience. So from the trade side, it's less effort to get paid and less manpower or woman power to produce the actual check coming back to them. So these are all they're subtle advantages that our competition there's no way they can scale up and afford what we do.
Right. So Stanley Martin Custom Homes, totally separate company, wholly owned by Stanley Martin. You're the president, and you know, some of the more interesting aspects of the company, you know, for me are that when a buyer goes through the process with us, they are experiencing all the benefits of a boutique builder
Right.
with lots of personal service throughout
Absolutely.
the transaction, and they're enjoying all the benefits of being under the large umbrella of a $34 billion parent company.
Absolutely. And one thing that I would say, which may be really apropos in today's market, is our customers are assured that we will come through any down cycle and not slow up subcontractor payments. So sometimes we are at our best when the market takes a dip,
Right.
because all the trades want to work for us. The trades know they're going to get paid,
Right.
and there's still velocity of construction. Whereas, and John, you and I have been through this before,
Right.
when there is a dip, some builders won't make it through that dip just
Right.
based on liquidity and cash flow and how much capital they have, whereas that is not our concern. Our concern is delivering a high quality product
Right.
and a very, very good experience to our buyer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's great. So I think that's a great place to end this segment. I think the takeaway is that we are a wholly owned subsidiary of Stanley Martin Custom Homes, and we've got a great process to bring you right through the entire buying process and design process, and we're going to continue to chat about that in our next segment.
Sure.